When I was a kid, we had 3 television stations. Anybody remember that? It was ABC, CBS, NBC. Now, with 3 channels, if the president was on, your night was shot. Right? But at midnight, the television station would close and sign off with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, I couldn't understand why they would sign off with the Star-Spangled Banner until my grandfather gave me a theory. He said, well, it was midnight when God shed his grace on America. Notice it was midnight when Paul Revere took off on his famous ride. You see, you can't understand freedom until you understand the captivity at midnight. Now, folks, please believe that. Because there are a lot of folks who don't believe that. They believe that freedom is something they deserve. They believe it's something that they are entitled to. They think freedom is free. I think my mother said it best when she said, boy, if you want something for free, you must be dumb. That's why they call it free dumb. Right? Francis Scott Key steps aboard a British ship. As the British admiral said, sure, you can have your men. No problem. Because what happens to them now is merely academic. Because tomorrow, there won't be an America. He says, what are you talking about? He says, Mr. Key, I want to show you something, sir. Come step right over here. Look over here and tell me what you see. I see a flag of Fort McHenry. That's America. That's my land. Very well, sir. Now, look over here and tell me what you see. Nothing, sky and ocean. He said, no, sir. Your eyes are not trained, sir. Look far out in the distance. You mean those black dots? Those black dots, Mr. Key, is the entire British fleet with the wind at their back. In 2 hours, they will be within striking distance of Fort McHenry. And if that flag over there on the rampart does not come down tonight, you don't surrender to British authority? We will wipe Fort McHenry off the face of the earth. We will literally blast it to the ground. Francis Scott Key didn't know what to do. Francis Scott Key said when the bombing started, all he could hear were the POWs praising and singing. As he continued to praise and sing, as the bombs bursted in air, the prisoners kept on singing. As the rockets with a red glare, Francis Scott Key said he would continue to pray. And they continued to pound Fort McHenry, and they pounded Fort McHenry, and for 25 hours straight, they pounded Fort McHenry. Until about 4 o'clock in the morning when they realized they had a problem. That flag was still there. The British admiral runs to Francis Scott Key and says, you people are crazy. That flag is taking direct hit after direct hit, and somehow it's still standing. But I tell you what, for the next 3 hours, we've got every rocket, we've got every bomb aimed at that flag, and it will come down tonight. But early in the morning, when the smoke cleared, Francis Scott Key saw something he could not believe. Choked up with emotion, he yelled down to the deck below and said, that flag is still there. The flag is still there. He knew the flag had been hit. He couldn't understand why it was still standing. Until he got to Fort McHenry. Saw men, fathers, husbands, sons, who knew if the flag was down, America was down. Had gathered together to hold up the flag. As 4 of them died. Their bodies were laid on top of each other. Blood was shed all over the ground. Francis Scott Key cried his eyes out as he watched dawn's early light shine on the flag. It's still there. He took out the negotiation papers that he was supposed to give to the British admiral. He turned it over on the back and he wrote a poem that said, Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave. Land of the free, the home of the brave. Well, I knew the story, but I didn't understand its meaning until recently. Until I watched how many of our men and women have given their lives holding up the flag. You see, Sergeant Jesus Flores was somebody's father who gave his life this year, holding up the flag. And Sergeant Joshua Hart was somebody's husband who gave his life this year for holding up the flag. Nicole Fryer was somebody's 19-year-old little girl who gave her life this year for holding up the flag. And because they did so, that flag is still there. Ladies and gentlemen, our flag has taken direct hit after direct hit for the last 200 years. But because of a bunch of men and women, many who are in this room, that dug in the trenches, that went out to sea, that took off to the wild blue yonder, that flag is still there. From the bloodshed on Normandy, to the bloodshed in Saigon, to the bloodshed in Afghanistan, that flag is still there. They've blown up the ships, they've knocked down the buildings, they've killed as many troops as they could, but through it all, that flag is still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? In the land of the free, and the home of the brave.